Let me know if my current situation is able to relate to you. My relationship right now is going through a lot of negative interactions. Eventually, after a day or two or a few hours, the fight goes away. You kind of make up or just forget about the problem and you go through your day-to-day life again. But the issue keeps happening and happening. And it feels like you're having the same fight over and over again with your partner. You're kind of like this balloon right here. And every time you fight, you become a little bit more deflated and deflated. But you just have to keep smiling through the pain. So if you ever struggled through negative interactions and wanted to build a healthy, more sustainable relationship, then stick around with me in this video and we'll go over how to do that, because this is something I'm currently dealing with as well. And with these techniques I'm learning, hopefully someone else will be able to benefit too. I've recently been reading Attachment Theory by Thias Gibson, who is a psychiatrist, I believe. And it goes over various topics on strengthening your relationship, identifying the needs you have, identifying your partner's needs, so a more sustainable relationship can be built between the two of you. Right now, I'm going to be going over the 3 steps of implementing acceptance and commitment therapy, also called ACT, which you guys might have heard of before. So acceptance and commitment therapy, which I'll be just saying ACT for short, is shifting from a reactionary mindset to a more reflectionary mindset. So the first step is to observe yourself. Observing yourself will allow you to enter a state of mindfulness. In the book, mindfulness is defined as the state of focusing on the present to remove oneself from feeling consumed by the emotion experienced in the moment. So think back in your relationship to a traumatic or emotional fight, interaction, negative interaction that you guys had. During that time, you're probably not really thinking consciously. It's basically a lot of reactions happening between you and your partner, a lot of emotion, no really conscious thought behind it. That is because you're basically using your fight or flight brain mechanisms when you're in a fight with your partner. When you're in a fight with your partner, your prefrontal and neocortex part of your brain, which is basically the part of your brain that's in charge of your conscious thought, spatial reasoning, a lot of those logical type stuff, those parts of your brain gets deactivated, and your reptilian brain, not like actual reptile, it's just called the lower part of your brain. It's called the reptilian brain, which is in charge of your fight or flight mechanisms in your brain. That part of your brain gets activated. If the reptilian part of your brain is activated, your body is unable to heal in this state. That is what Thias Gibson mentions in this book. And we have to get to more of a reflectionary mindset so our body can be able to heal. So the way we can do that, an action step that I'm gonna implement and everyone needs to implement as well, is to witness and label your emotions as soon as they pop up. And we need to try to move to a reflectionary mindset as soon as possible. If an argument starts to pop up and you start to feel angry or annoyed, make sure you label in your mind that, hey, I'm feeling angry or annoyed. Why is that? You can label those emotions, and then once you label them, you'll be able to get over them. Because a lot of times, a lot of emotions pop up in our mind, but we don't even think about why we're feeling this way. Why am I feeling angry? Why am I feeling annoyed? But if you can think, I'm feeling annoyed right now, what is causing me to be annoyed? You'll be able to deactivate the reptilian part of your brain and activate that prefrontal and neocortex part of your brain and think more rationally. The second step when implementing ACT into our relationship so we can get rid of those negative interactions is identifying unmet needs. The way you can really understand your partner and know their unmet needs is you need to figure out their attachment type. Now, in this book, Attachment Theory, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to purchase this book. It's only like probably 10 to 20 bucks and it's really beneficial. There's a quiz in this book where you'll be able to identify your attachment theory and your partner's attachment theory. And basically, attachment theory is the way we want to be loved that we learned from our childhood and any of the core wounds or trauma that happened and how they affect us. Once you understand your partner's attachment theory and any core wounds that they have, you'll be able to really identify their unmet needs and know the way they want to be loved. After you know the core wounds from attachment theory itself, you're gonna also want to find out the 6 personality needs that they have: love and connection, significance, certainty, uncertainty, growth, and contribution. Once you can understand the attachment type and the personality needs that your partner has, you'll be able to see that every action, everything they say, everything they do is basically a way to get their need fulfilled. And that is actually why the negative interaction is happening. So the action item to identify unmet needs is basically what I just talked about. Make sure you identify your attachment type and personality needs, and also go ahead and work with your partner on identifying their attachment type and personality needs as well. You need to communicate with each other the way that you feel fulfilled in the relationship. If that is able to happen whenever a negative interaction comes up, you'll be able to really move from a reactionary mindset to a reflectionary mindset. And if you already understand the needs that your partner has, you'll be able to see what they want in the moment and get that negative interaction, that argument away from happening as much as you possibly can. The third point of implementing ACT to dismiss those negative interactions from happening in your relationship, in my relationships as well, is to create strategies to get those unmet needs fulfilled. Basically, understand your partner as much as possible and express to them the needs that you need to have fulfilled in the relationship, and then they'll be able to express their needs to you as well. Once you get on that mutual understanding and you can understand each other objectively, you'll be able to really get rid of that fight or flight system response, get into a reflectionary mindset, and take actions towards helping out your partner and progressing the relationship rather than having a negative interaction and tearing it down. You'll be able to finally get into the root causes and issues on the arguments that you're having. If you've had arguments that happen over and over again, you'll be able to really root out those existing issues so you're not suffering over the same arguments over and over. You can fully identify the problem and work together to root it out completely, so then the perpetual suffering of going through the same issues and trauma and arguments, they can finally stop. An important point to know is you never want to argue about the past. If you're arguing about the past, you're just putting energy towards negative stuff that's happened. You really just want to invest your energy into fixing the underlying issue so you both can go forward. Even if you feel hurt and you want to go off, you're just using your reptilian lizard brain. You're just using your fight or flight system. Move towards more reflectionary mindsets and just invest all that energy instead of fighting and arguing. Put all that energy into solving the issue so then your relationship can be infinitely more positive. When we implement these 3 steps of observing yourself, identifying unmet needs between you and your partner, and creating strategies to get those needs met, our relationships hopefully will be so much more positive and we'll be able to live a sustainable, happy, healthy life together with our partners. Now that we went over those 3 steps, there's 3 tips right now that you can do to implement ACT into your life so you can start to practice moving from a reactionary mindset to a reflectionary mindset. One way you can do that T.I.S. Gibson mentions is to start your morning off right. If you wake up and you notice that you feel a little bit annoyed or groggy, you need to start identifying in your mind, hey, I feel this way. Why do I feel this negative way? Once you do that and you're able to label those emotions, you'll be able to implement ACT into your personal life, and then you'll be able to be more fulfilled and understand yourself better. Another thing that's very helpful is to focus on the little things, whether that be the sound of the clock in the background, whether that be taking a walk and hearing nature, or you can even just be focusing on the breaths that you take. Once you focus on those little things, you'll be able to really move into a reflectionary mindset. You'll be able to be more calm and kind of serene in those situations. So imagine you're in a really negative interaction that's starting to come up. Just focus on your breath. And once you start to focus on that, it'll actually switch you from having a reactionary mindset to being more reflectionary on the little things around you. And then you can implement that reflectionary mindset to work with your partner on addressing the core issues you guys need to address, so then you can understand each other better and get rid of negative interaction. The third and final hack that she mentions to implement ACT in your life is basically just ask yourself every day, what are the needs that you need to be fulfilled today? You can be able to understand what you need within yourself. You can address that to your partner. You're both going to help each other to make sure your needs are getting met. And a lot of times issues just come up in relationships, in my marriage, just because we both don't actually understand the needs we want to get met or the goals we have that we really want to get done to feel happy. So if those needs are just communicated with each other, honestly, the relationship will go so much better. Any negative interaction that may happen in the future will just be rooted out because you already understand each other. You'll be able to really be like this balloon and be in a more genuine, happy state and smiling state at all times. That's really what we all just want at the end of the day. So I'll include some links to the resources I mentioned in this video. I genuinely hope this video has helped you out, and I wish nothing but the best for you.